Hey everybody, Nick here with the Bridge Group, and I'm actually joined by Evan Miller. He's with Entitled Insurance. He does personal line insurance, so that's home, flood, auto, you name it. What makes something in or not in a flood zone?
We're actually kind of all in a flood zone, right? I mean, especially here in Houston, I mean, we're just a big swamp for the most part. So the difference is, am I in a mandatory flood zone or am I in a voluntary flood zone? So you're gonna see double letters as far as where this is the base elevation and you are either above it or below it. And the rates will adjust accordingly.
What do the letters mean? You know, I'm in an X or I'm in an X500 or I'm in an AE.
Really, it's a percentage based is what most people look at. So when they say, oh, well, I'm in a 500-year plane, and so that means my risk is only 1 in 500 years. Well, really what it means is that you're 1 in 500 homes as far as the risk assessment.
Obviously, I know the answer to this and I know what you're gonna say, but I have to ask just because I get the question all the time. If I'm not required to have flood insurance, should I still have it?
I'll never tell anyone that they don't need flood insurance. Even with the premium being close to $500 on average, if you have that for 30 years and only have one flood event, it pays for itself.
The majority of the people that flooded during Harvey did not actually have flood insurance. It's just like auto insurance, right? Like you hope that you don't need it. Sometimes feels like you're paying for auto insurance for no reason, but all it takes is getting into that one wreck when you do need it and it provides that coverage that it makes sense to carry it. Even if it's not a requirement to have flood insurance, we always recommend that you have it. Now, is there a difference between flood insurance and other types of water damage related insurance?
Homeowners insurance will always exclude flood, pretty much rising water that they're talking about. Now, if you're talking about water damage from pipes or, foundation water damage is a pretty big one. Those are actually on a homeowner's policy that you can purchase. There's also the pipe itself that has to be fixed. And so water backup is a huge deal because there's a lot of pipes under the ground that you don't think of when it comes to water damage that have to get repaired. And that's the water backup endorsement that you don't normally see on insurance policies that always trips people up when they go submit that claim.
What's the process? What should somebody do? I see water in my house. Do I document it? Do I take pictures, video? Do I call you?
If you have a flood event, a lot of stuff will be destroyed to the point that you can't even tell what it is anymore. Go through your house, take a video once every 6 months to a year, and just walk through and say like, hey, here's what I have in my house. This is what this make and model of this couch was or whatever. And you can even do it right before a storm hits. So
the video is proof enough.
It is proof enough, yeah.
So you've actually made me aware of some changes recently that were happening with regards to flood zones, and not only how they're priced, but also how houses are considered in what flood zone.
As of October 1st of this year, FEMA has actually changed flood insurance altogether. It's called 2.0. I won't say it's better or worse, but for them, it is a lot more streamlined. And just like homeowners insurance, where your house is rated differently than your neighbor's house, it's the same way with flood insurance. They're actually rating it based on your individual house. They have used the satellite imagery, they use all the elevation stuff, the mapping. The old maps are gone. And that's what they used to use. They would rate an entire community, where now your house is different than your neighbor's house as far as rating. So where your house may be rated, $550, your neighbor's may be $560. FEMA has done the math and actually been able to show this is the elevation and this is the risk.
So when somebody's buying a resale house, I know a big thing was grandfathering, right? Like if a house did require flood insurance and they had relatively low rates, the new buyer was able to sort of take over that policy, as it were, or at least the pricing.
Grandfathering is actually gone. If you had grandfathered before October 1st, they'll continue it until your next policy. If you try to do it now, it's gone. You're gonna, whatever the rate is now, it's unfortunately gonna be that rate. And same for elevation certificates. You're gonna see that if you had an engineer come out and you had the elevation set and the rate was adjusted for that, that's no longer an option.
If you need flood insurance, if you have questions that you want to ask about flood insurance, flood zones, policies, things like that, definitely reach out to Evan with Entitled Insurance. He would love to be able to chat with you about what pricing looks like and how he can get you guys the best rate for the best coverage. We'll see you guys on the next one.